Welcome back again. In part 4 series, we are going to discuss about test execution integration between UiPath Test Manager and the ADV. Without any delay, let's get started. Let's understand test execution integration. What is this test execution integration? If you observe this particular uh, the image, this test execution, the test executions will render as test run in ADO. So this is a one directional, meaning if I execute any of the test set, that will come as a test execution. That will come as a test execution entry in UiPath Test Manager, and that entry will be shown in the test run in ADO. That's what this integration will do. So let's see manually. Let's execute. Let's execute one test set. If I go to my test set, this is if this is my test set. Okay. If I execute this particular test set manually, so how many test cases are there in this particular test set? One, right? One. So I'm marking that particular test case as passed and done. Okay. When I execute this particular test set, that entry will become under execution tab. When you click on this execution tab, if you see a few seconds ago, this test set is being executed and the status is being finished. This entry, whatever the entry here it is showing, right? This entry is nothing but test execution entry. Okay, let's understand. So if I want to create and test execution entry in the ADO, how many fields I do require. Okay, here I only have a name field and again execution type and so status. Only the three fields are there. So if I want to create a model, how many variables, how many fields I have to create? Only three fields. One is called name, another one is execution type, another one is status. This is at UiPath site. This is at UiPath site. So make a note of that. Notepad. Say in UiPath Test Manager, what fields are there? Name and execution type and status. I do have the status. So the status are, what are the different status we have? Finished and also cancelled, canceling, and none and running. These are the different status. Status will be shown at the status column. Different status that will be shown at status column, right? Let's understand in the ADO side. If I execute any of the test suite, okay, if I execute any of the test suite manually, let's execute. So I'm executing. So let's mark this one as passed test set, save and closed. Okay, I executed this particular test case. Okay, in the ADO. If you see here also, here also, we come as title and state and run ID. It doesn't require. So here in the ADO side, we do have a title and state. Only two things are there, right? So the meaning here, let's make a note. Let's make a note in the ADO. In the ADO, what are there? Just if I want to create a test run, how many fields do I require? Just a title and a state. Okay. In UiPath Test Manager side, we do have name, execution type, and status. But in the ADO side, title and state. These two entries are required only to create a test run entry. Okay. So what in model, how many fields I should have to create? I have to create only two fields. That is called name and status. Name and status. Okay. Let's understand what are the different status are there, different status which is being present. Let's see in the ADO integration side, what are the different states are being there in the state, in this particular state. Usually this particular state contains completed and in progress, in planning, needs to investigate, etc. I'll showcase you what are the different fields are being there. Let's start. Let's create a model with only name and status. Name and status. So let's go to our integration. Uh, let's go to integration. Let's create a model. This is test execution model. So this is the test execution model. So what are the two fields I have to create? One is name, that type is string. Okay. The another one is status. Let's call it as a status. And this is a single select. And we will give a different multiple fields, which is being present. Okay. So I will give finished, canceling, cancelled, running, and none, and pending. Let's give this type. This is different types. Okay. The model is created. Done. So the model is created. Let's see how to create the collection. Let's see how to create the collection. Okay. We have to create two collections. One for UiPath Test Manager, another for ADO. So let's create the collection for UiPath. UiPath execution. UiPath test execution collection. Okay. So repository, UiPath repository, I'll choose. I know what is my project, training, Tasktop training, done. And what is the item which I have to choose here? Test execution. What is the model? Just now we have created test execution model. Save. So if you see the map fields, name, status, and status. If you see, click on the configure. If you observe finished, will be finished, connect, running to running, connect, cancel to cancel, connect, pending to pending, connect, and canceling to canceling, connect, and empty to empty, connect. Done. So this integration is done. Name and status, only these two fields we are mapping. Okay. Click on done. So that's it. So the next one, ADO test run execution. ADO test run collection. So I know I have to choose ADO repository and manage and just select the project name. And here, what we call test run. Test run. We'll call it as a test run. So I know what is the model. This is called test execution model. So whatever the model which you have been given over in the UiPath collection, the same model has to use in the ADO as well. Okay. So the test execution and model, and click on save. let's map the fields. So status and status. Okay. And we already discussed the name has to come as a title. So that title is nothing but a summary. Okay. So here we will choose name and connect. Okay. And if you see here, these are the different statuses which are available in the test run. Okay, we have to map differently. So if I get a status finished in my UiPath Test Manager, that should be mapped with completed, completed in the ADU. Okay, done. If I am pending, pending, so it should be waiting in my ADU. The status should be waiting in ADU. If it is been running, it should be in progress in the ADU. If it is cancelled, cancel, it's unspecified in the ADU. And if it is canceling, let's, if it is a cancel, it should be aborted. Okay. And canceling, it's unspecified. None, not started, and needs to investigate. It's something field which is not required for us, and click on save. So this is done. And again, still it's showing. Okay, empty to empty. Sorry, empty to empty, and click on save, and done. And still it's showing some of the repository artifacts. I should call needs to investigation also. We'll make it as connect, save, and done. So this is done. Are there any mandatory fields? Are there? Yes, we do have a mandatory field. So this is a parent test plan. The use of the parent test plan is if I execute this particular test execution where it has to render in ADU, it has to be rendered under some test plan. So that's why we do require that particular test plan needs to be get mapped. Okay, back to configure relationship in this parent test plan and constant value. My project is Tasktop new and my project is test and my connection is Tasktop new, where test plan, under which test plan I have to render. I know what is my test plan. Tree. How would I know the test plan ID? So if I go to my test plans, where if you see my test plans are plan A and plan B, I need plan B. So what is the ID of that particular test plan ID? 3. So that's why I'm just giving here 3. Let's give 3 and set constant value and say we configured the ADO collection as well. Let's start integration. Let's implement the integration. Okay. There's new integration. Click on the new integration where work item synchronization you have to choose. So let's give a title. So test execution integration. Okay. Here always the left hand side UiPath and choose what collection you want to test execution in test execution collection. I have to choose repo again ADO. What collection I have to choose? Test run collection, right? And click on save. As usual, the first one, artifact creation flow. So it should be not the two-way, it should be one way. So select the one way. Always UiPath Test Manager execution needs to be synced to your ADO. That's we are going to do in this integration. Click on save, done, and field flow. Let's verify. So what it will do? If I if I execute any of the test set under whatever the title of that particular test test execution name will become as a summary in the test run and status that will be configured under which plan it has to come. It's cool. It's cool. And artifact routing. Select it and click on connect and save and done. That's it. We are good. Run and done. Let's see the integration is being running. let's see, we already have some entries, some entries of the execution, right? So I have a two entries. One ends with 1834, one ends with 1832. Let's see whether these integrations is being synchronized to runs or not. Here we go. If you see 1832, the same 1832, the same 1834, 1834. So the test executions are synchronized successfully. But if you see, if I go inside, we don't have any results. Test results, there is no results. If I observe here, I do have a result. So this one, for this particular test case is being passed. This result did not sync to ADO. Why? Because we have to implement the other integration called test case log integration. Let's see in the part 5. So how to synchronize the test case log from UiPath Test Manager to ADO. Thanks for watching. Please do subscribe if you like this video. Thank you.